Ooh.
Go.
And it just cuts to that young lass being taken in by these, degenerate Japanese criminals. Tasteless
And then we
dudes.
also have Truck Kun Isekai more people.
I do think that's the only
uh,
time you get any reference to rape in all of Death Note, just right there. Which is good. I prefer, for you guys to have some class. But hey, this is where Light has benefit. He's passing righteous judgment on these kooks. He's going in there, you know. And that girl could have been a virgin. Light could have just saved her virginity. And if he is, then I think God would approve, honestly. But, he's going in there. But there are limits. Yeah, in this episode we get the basic introduction of L, but I don't think we see him until the third episode. Oh, you're not coming in there.
yeah,
Okay, there you go, yeah. You were like far away
I'm
from
just
me.
talking. Sorry, I'm invested in Death Note
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fine.
because I forgot how good it is.
It is. You'll forget. You'll forget when you haven't watched it in a while and you go back and then you're like, yo. Early Death Note is real good. I'll
Well,
say that.
well, Death Note to me is like every time I watch Code Geass, right? Because you always see new shit
Uh-huh.
each time you watch it.
No, that's true. I will say, I do like Cody Geass more than Death Note. But if we're talking just pure early Death Note, like the first, 10, 13 episodes, something like that, I will say I like Death Note more, actually. Just for the height of Death Note. I think is better
Mm,
than Code Geass as a whole. Code Geass as a whole, though, is better than Death Note. Because Death Note drops quite a bit after, around halfway through. Uh, Ryuk is my dude, though. That's probably what I'd be doing in this situation, too, if he can. Dude just chilling on apples daily. That's how it's going for me. That's what I do. I just have apples every day. Apples all the time. I love my apples.
for me, oh yeah. By the way, IRL, fucking when apples grow up again, we'll get you a box, Gaiden,
Alright. I'll be good.
like last year.
Save me from buying a lot. Because, I literally get, apple withdrawal when I don't have my apples. Like, I run out of apples, then I'm going a couple days without them, and I'm like, ugh. Can't have my apples, dude. Ah, man.
You know what I feel like doing right now? Because I have it? I'm gonna crack open a coconut water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's Light's
Light
sister.
sister.
Always kawaii, though. She's so kawaii? Seriously? I forgot back in the day, but seriously. Well, of course Ryuk plays. Ryuk just reveals rules as he goes, very calmly, which I love. Ryuk
Bench
makes things
52.
dynamic. 52. Interesting. So the top criminals is 52 of them? Interesting. Hmm. Adrian Mutu from Spain, was that? Doesn't sound like it would be. Hmm.
Well, I guess they're all like police people,
Yeah, well, this is.
or government officials.
Yeah, well, you wish the UN looked this epic, but sadly no. Oh, there's Israel in the background. Benayoun definitely sounds Jewish. Juan
We
Carlos
have June
Escobar.
Escobar.
I'm just looking at these names. So one guy from Venezuela, one guy from Colombia. Hmm.
You wonder how they came up with those names, if they just used like a random name generator. Or
Yeah,
just like Google searched.
just like Colombian random names. Well, the fact that they put Escobar for a Colombian guy is really funny. That's kind of on the nose.
Well, yeah.
And they're just bringing in L. Those are kind of small ties, but that's how it is with the Japanese. They got a little different knot. They call it the Oriental knot. A little bit more. I wouldn't say thin, but the Japanese tend to wear thinner ties. Oh, all the white people have. All the white people have more proper ties like us. So you see, he knew how to draw ties. He knew what was on. He knew where he was at. You see, I love these moments because this is where you actually get like the international stuff, and you just don't get that later in Death Note at all. It's like only in Japan. And I love this. Like L is like this like world acclaimed dude. You know, he's like hunted down criminals in Africa or whatever. Pretty epic. Two Dutch guys in the background. Der Saad.
Yeah, you know what would have been epic as well? If they had like L solve the Zodiac killer case.
Oh, but that would have been incredible. They should have done that.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Well, technically, the funny thing about this technically is like L is basically the only white guy in Death Note. Everyone else is like Japanese. L. They actually have given L's like ethnicity specifically. He is a quarter English, an eighth French, an eighth Italian, a quarter Russian, and a quarter Japanese. That's what he is. But he was born in England.
That's why I consider the fucking Death Note live action movie heretical.
Black L. Black L, white light.
Well, yeah, because it's literally like, it's not even me being racist. It's just, it literally goes against Death Note lore. Like, what the fuck are Netflix thinking?
Well, no, honestly,
like, why try and diversify something that literally goes against the series lore?
Well, by diversify, I mean diversify just means like make less white. They made it more white. That's the problem. Light isn't white. Light's a Japanese guy. Don't make him white. Don't make L black or whatever. Whatever. I mean, technically, if they're obsessed with that, L is like the only white guy around. They don't need to worry about that, but they did anyway. I mean, granted, probably it's because they didn't even know that. I would not be surprised if the people who made the Death Note live action didn't even know that like Light was Japanese and all these characters were Japanese.
They didn't even watch Death Note.
I wouldn't be surprised. Because I can't blame them for not thinking that they're Japanese, because they don't really look Japanese, you know? Like, Light is running around with his, like, brown hair, and then you have, like, Misa, who has, like, blonde hair. Like, they look pretty white, I'll say it. But a lot of anime characters do.
Well, yeah. Well, you know why that is. I don't have to explain that. It's because Japan loves whites as a culture.
They do! I mean, you look at all their fashion magazines, and all the women on them are, like, white women. And look, I'm just not going to question it. They have a love for us, and we have a love for them too. We have this kind of like distant respect, and you know, unlike the Chinamen, unlike the Koreans, you know, they just admit where they know to go right. You know, they're a fan of us, and I'm a fan of them, and you know, it's just very nice. It's very nice to have you know, some people who aren't out there with their, like, you were racist in the past, you colonized, whatnot, meh, I hate white people. And instead, they're just like, hey, you know, you got these cool guys overseas, you know.
Well, that's what you call racism bias.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, you know. It's just that the way things are supposed to be now is they're brown, we're white, and we're at fault and blame for being white, so we basically can't question it. That's how it goes. But no, the Japanese, they just respect us on honest terms, and there's no beef. You know, we nuked them in World War II.
Oh, yes, and we also have the high IQ.
Yeah, this is funny. This is actually funny. I laughed the first time I saw this, but it is actually like cool. But the funny thing is, like, again, these small little details that are in Death Note, they didn't need to do this. Like, this is not a scene that needs to exist necessarily, where he says how he hides his diary and he has, like, an oil fuse in his desk that will go off if you open it or whatever. But they do it anyway just to give you the context, just to set up for you the kind of intensity and the kind of strategy that is in Death Note and is going on there. I love that stuff. Which is good, because Light is high IQ. The moment he starts using the Death Note, he knows the immediate consequences that it will bring. So he's prepared from day one. Which I love that. Ah, man. So good, dude. So good, dude. Humble origins, dude.
Yeah.
Naoki Tokoyama. 15 years, well. Not a life sentence, but light kills anyway. That was like a guy. That was like a guy's voice, but it looked totally like a girl. Homeless Japanese dude. Smooching in the alley. That's what you see in cities. Thankfully, I'm not in the city.
Yep.
Well, at least they were smooching in the alley, because in Japan, if you sometimes just smooch in front of people, they can be a little bit uncomfortable about that. Which is good. Respectable.
Well, Japan's like such a weird country.
Yeah, it's weird.
Even in real life.
It's weird and mannerly. As they say, the country of extremes. But that's, they're
No, it's also the country of vending machines, because they have like in every type of vending machine. They have vending machines that literally serve pizza and shit like that. Why don't we have that in North America? Seriously, someone from Japan, port that shit over.
If only, The Asians are all flooding into our country, but they're not bringing the epic stuff with them, Why not? Bring your vending machines with you. I want to see them.
Bro, bring the fucking Japanese arcades.
Yeah.
Low key.
But the arcades are gone. I mean, hey.
The rhythm games.
I mean, hey.
I know in Vancouver there's a couple arcades. I went down there more than once because I got bored.
Yeah. But it's like nothing compared to Japan. You can go to like a small town, baby town in Japan, and they'll have an arcade there. But
I wonder if you were to set up an arcade here, like how well it would do. I guess it would depend on like location.
Over here, it probably would fail because the majority of people in this town are like 55 and over. This town is like really old.
I mean, if you put it like if you build like another building, put it like where the old 7-Eleven was, you could probably make bank, honestly.
I think you could do it, but you would need to be like really cheap about it. And the problem with like a lot of things like that, like there used to be that place like Play and Trade, that like video game selling thing here. And that had to close down just because they had to just be cheap with what they sold. They were a great place. You could go in, trade games, bring them in, order them from other places, whatnot. They had all kinds of like old stuff too. It was a great place, but to keep in business, they had to sell cheaper than their games actually were, and as a cost of that, they ended up dying, which was sad.
Well,
but
I'm thinking right because like quarters.
Mm-hmm.
You could go super retro with it, and then pretty much just like also smell like snacks and shit on the side. And I guarantee you'd get like, because the thing about it is you have to think of like, where is it most convenient for your customers?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like probably the most convenient place.
Yeah, I would say so. That's a good place for it. I like Lind L. Taylor, by the way. If that was L's actual name, it'd be really funny, because it's like a really like basic like white name. Any name with like Taylor in it, that's a fun one. But what was I saying? Oh, I'm forgetting.
Oh, and we get one of L's most high IQ decisions in the series.
This is so funny. I love this scene so much. I am justice. The god of a new world. He's here, dude. The funny thing is, this is where Light shows his arrogance. And the fact that he's still a kid. Light's like 17. That's one thing people have to keep in mind. Seriously. But literally, L mocks him, and Light just goes to kill him. Like, right there. You know? That shows, you know, what is Light's character. But this is just the high IQ play by L.
He also does it in, like, big lettering, if you notice. Just has, like, an extra fuck you.
Well, I do love... Well, the thing is, like, L... Like, number one, this guy, Linda L. Taylor, because that is his name, because he dies here. Number one, a lot of balls on this man. I salute this man, Linda L. Taylor. Went out just for a bet on L. Seriously. Good job, Linda L. Taylor. But, besides that, the fact that L just put that dude out to bait Light, such a high IQ play, and I love that dude. Love that setup. I love this. I love his face here. He's just so shocked. It's beautiful. L, my dude. My dude, L. Love the man. In fact, actually, right here, I got a hat here. And it's got an L on it. Ah, man. I don't know why it has an L on it, but it does. And it's got it because L is here. My man is here. All Light has is the internet, which is kind of epic. Dude using his just internet Google searching to just kill all the criminals he finds. Kind of epic. And L just plays. This is what I love about L, is the dude just goes out. The dude's got balls. He just goes. Love it, dude.
Well, he likes to play with, like, people just to play along, mess with them.
Yeah, that's the difference between L and Nier. Nier is all reclused and he won't go out there. You know, Nier and Light don't even meet until the very end. But the moment L suspects that Light is Kira, he just goes and meets him. He's like, yo, how you doing, man? I love that dude.
You can't do shit, basically.
The Kanto region of Japan, which is basically like the largest metro area in Tokyo. It's got around 39 million people in it, so that entire place has more people than all of Canada, which is difficult to comprehend, but that's just how Japan is. For now, anyway. You're Japan. The epic Anglo call-out. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're looking for anywhere in Japan, then that's what you do. That's basically like broadcasting in New York City. Love that setup. Although, they never even suggest the idea of once of Light leaving Japan. Like, they don't even, like, leave it as a potential option. Even after L dies, and it's like a 6-year time skip, which is really weird because it doesn't feel like a 6-year time skip, but it technically is. The dude's still just in the same place. Okay, we're gonna get the laugh here. I'm gonna wait. Well, we already got the laugh, but and this is the setup. One of the best setups in manga, and you know, it kind of just goes half-baked. But man, the setup is good. Here we go, dude. We'll eliminate you. Justice. That's right, boy. That's right, boy. On the side of my boy L. On the side of my boy L.
Justice.
On the side of my boy.
Alright, where's my... And then we get the ending.
Get the ending. The ending is interesting. I didn't really remember it. Yeah, the opening and ending of this are good, but there have been better.
S tier.